Welcome to Mindflow Radio.
She's Jalen.
And he's Monte.
So buckle your seatbelts and get ready to take a trip towards reality. Happy July.
Happy July. We are independent, powerful beings.
Indeed, and maybe this is a good month to celebrate that.
Yeah.
And to accentuate it.
Talk about it, think about it.
Yeah, understand it.
Yeah, so today we decided to go with the holiday this month and speak about freedom and power and what that means to us. So, So what do you feel?
What am I feeling? Well, talking about power, one thing I believe is we are all of us vastly more powerful than we understand.
That makes me think of a quote that I shared on our good little friend Facebook. It was, "We are powerful beings, so powerful that if you think you are not, you are not."
Yeah.
I just love that.
I mean, and it is important to differentiate the words we say with our deep-seated beliefs. Because that's really where we can unleash our power if we're able to reprogram our minds to actually believe that we are vastly powerful. It's part of Hermetic's philosophy, essentially, that's an ancient Egyptian philosophy, but it talks about how the universe and all matter is just created by God consciousness, or the Tao. They call it the All. The All is this vibration that just creates everything. And then we, as humans, we have the spark of the All within us. So we have this ability, it's an innate ability to manifest, to create stuff. And that's where our power lies. Only we've gone through so much training in our lives to make us feel unpowerful. You
Absolutely.
know? And we have to, well, we don't have to, but it's in our best interest to look at that and to try and reverse that. I mean, if we're feeling unpowerful, let's examine that and see if we can shift into a place where we at least catch a glimpse of our potential.
I think part of that is expanding our perspective to include reality, which is beyond what we can fathom with our senses.
Yeah.
And the idea of we are made of energy. We are 99.999% energy.
Or 100%, depending on which physics you prescribe to. But,
yeah.
It's true. We are energetic being. We are energy, and we have this thing where we don't really realize that.
Right.
Because we're material beings on some level.
Right.
In some dimension, this dimension that we're conversing in and
the 3D
we're living in. Yeah. We're material beings, and
but barely.
Yeah.
But it seems more real than what we can't see or feel or touch. The energy is, which we are more made of than the matter.
Yeah.
But we subscribe to the matter. We believe in the matter.
Yeah.
We let things that are going on, even if they were magnetized to us by our own belief systems, we let those things dictate the joy or happiness or peace that we can have.
Yeah.
And yet we are the creators, like you were saying. We have that spark of creative manifesting abilities.
Yes.
And yet what I've learned from all the different manifesting teachers that I've seen is it's counterintuitive to follow a manifesting protocol and successfully create instead of randomly create by our magnet belief systems that create without our consent, basically. Well, they're just creating from the energy that we are subscribing to.
Right. And that kind of gets down to the point of freedom. Mm-hmm. It's like we have the freedom to change our belief system. We have the freedom to become different than we are now, essentially, if we're willing to work on changing our thoughts. I mean, we were raised in this world where we were taught A, B, C, and D. And that A, B, C, and D perhaps does not benefit us in a lot of ways.
Right.
And how do we change that? Well, we have the freedom to really look at it and shift our thinking, shift our belief systems. And once we realize that we are free beings, we can, on some level, let go of this disempowered state that we're kind of trained to believe in. Like, we can't change anything, and, wars will just always happen, silly guy, or just obviously, we'll have world peace someday. Just all these beliefs that things will never change.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of like
history repeats itself.
Yeah. And it'll never evolve. And it's just, but we do have that freedom to actually evolve ourselves, which is step one in evolving our culture.
Which is really hard to, well, it's not really that hard, but I understand that there is a perspective that it is very hard to focus on that when the world feels like it's crumbling all around us. But I feel like it makes the most logical sense because everything else that has been tried doesn't work. So it seems logical to me that we would look inward and focus inward to find the answers that we can't find outside of ourselves. And I do want to point out what you're saying about the belief systems. I feel like we're social creatures and we reflect to each other our belief systems with or without knowing it, mostly not knowing it. And it takes a really good friend or a really good coach or therapist or whatever to be able to reflect, to say, oh, look, you're talking about a belief right now. And let's examine that. Are you sure that's what you want to believe? And otherwise we just keep going because it's hard to discern what is the belief that's holding us back? What is the belief that's magnetizing random difficulties into our lives? It's very hard to discern that without someone to reflect it to us.
Well, unless we can just look inside our own minds. I mean, use that metacognition, watching our thoughts and watching the thoughts from a scientific perspective. And when we notice when the thoughts are not, they're either productive or unproductive, essentially. And if we get caught up in all these unproductive thoughts, if we can notice that and then kind of trying to figure out, are those thoughts associated with some belief that's holding me back?
Right.
And it's a lot of work to shift our minds. Essentially, I mean, we're talking about making new neural connections in our brains. And it takes work. It's just like building muscle in a gym. It takes work. And work is hard, right? It's hard to change. It's hard but being stagnant is also hard.
It's painful. Stagnation is painful.
Both have pain associated with them, but I'd much rather deal with the pain of growth than the pain of stagnation.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would probably feel that way. But a lot of us don't even realize that we're stagnant, you know? And
yeah, one of my teachers, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he really likes to say that don't fall into a routine. Just keep shaking it up and keep shaking it up so you don't end up in autopilot without having the choice. So it is stagnation can look like a busy life.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're stagnant in your own personal routine and it's just the same day in and day out and week in and week out, then it's hard to change the brain. It's hard to even reflect on it because it's so automatic and routine.
Well, and the routines, I mean, if we really look inwards, a routine might be rumination.
Oh, yeah.
Just like thinking over and over, you know, thoughts, analysis, thinking. I can think my way out of this. You know, that kind of philosophy.
Well, that's a survival technique. That's deep in our survival systems.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying about the idea of manifesting is so against logic because we feel like, well, I want to survive. So therefore, if I think this out, if I analyze every single detail, then I'm more likely to survive. But then manifesting says, no, don't analyze.
Well, no, we need a certain level of analysis, but that needs to be in balance.
Right.
I mean, we want to analyze things clearly, but then we want to step into a place of that transcends analysis in our minds and is a place of just peace and awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we want to find the balance between those two. Perhaps that's yin and yang. You know, the yang is the analysis. The yin is the stillness. And if we find that balance, then our minds are vastly more effective, and we're able to see things far more clearly. And because of that, we're able to evolve and to have the freedom at that point to make decisions on what to think and how to think and what do I want to manifest in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, we're developing a manifesting mindset, which is extremely psychologically empowering and healthy. It's when we feel psychologically disempowered that we have more depression and anxiety and all that. It's like, oh, it's out of my hands,
Pain,
you know?
suffering.
Yeah, right. We're all familiar with that. You know, we all have our share of pain and suffering. It's part of the human condition. But if we're able to just find more balance in our minds, and another component to manifesting effectively is actually being able to hone in on our individual dharmas, our individual purposes. That's a big one and we need clarity to do that, you know, to look at our talents and abilities and ask that question, how can I serve humanity to the highest degree? Personally, how can I do that? You know, and we all have different talents and abilities, and that's what our dharmas are all individual, our purposes. So if we're able to have that clarity, find our purpose, and then have the ability to find stillness throughout the day and have really clear analysis is happening in our minds, then we're just far more likely to walk that path of purposeful living and living in our dharma and feeling better and evolving. Because that's the thing about dharma; it's not stagnant. It's like it's a process of living in such a way that our thoughts and our behavior are in harmony with our purpose. And we're talking about our purpose, and in our culture, it seems like a lot of people, I mean, we're supposed to live in harmony with somebody else's purpose. The people who are trying to like make money off us or,
Sure.
Whatever it is, all the politicians, oh yeah, we gotta live in harmony with what they say. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm going to think my own thoughts.
Yeah. And I think that's a very important point, that it's important to be unique and be yourself and be authentic. And to really question, and this goes back to the beliefs. Are you believing your own unique belief, or is this something that you were told to believe?
Yeah.
And it's just been a program running in the back of your mind or the back of your energy library.
And if that program is actually not in harmony with reality, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Well, I would say that most of us have programs that are doing us disservice.
Oh, I think essentially we all do have those.
Yeah.
Only some of us recognize them, perhaps.
Yeah, if we're lucky, if we're blessed with this inner sight and inner ability to discern and the willingness to discern, because it's easy to just defend ourselves and be like, oh, well, this is just how I am. And I know that I've been through that a lot. And then it's realizing, oh, wait, actually, this is a program that I'm running that I just happen to learn as a little tyke,
Yeah, right.
And that's how most of us are. If you think about epigenetics and how we pass on our belief systems.
Yeah.
And how I understand it is before the age of 2, so in utero to the age of 2, we're generally in the theta brainwave, and that's the programmable state of mind.
Yeah.
So we just absorb all the beliefs going on around us from our families, from the news playing on the TV. We just happen to get completely programmed.
Yeah.
And then it's completely nonverbal. So it's not something that we can just, let me analyze my belief system. It's just so much deeper than that. It's so deeply ingrained in our I can't think of the word, DNA.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
How to tease that out. It takes a lot of metacognition, a lot of effort.
Yeah. And metacognition, again, is being that witness to your thoughts. Cognition of cognition. And it's very important. That's a huge mistake a lot of humans make, is we self-identify with our thoughts. Oh, those thoughts are just me. That's just me. The little chattering voice I hear. Oh, that's just me. It's like, well, no, it's not actually. It's a thought that your mind created because of an old habit. And you or I actually get to decide whether that thought is appropriate or not, is effective or not. And if I find it to be ineffective, I can work against it. And I can thereby change my beliefs slowly but surely. And once we start walking that path of evolving our belief systems, we just begin to feel better.
Absolutely. And it's worth the effort. The thing that comes to my mind on the subject of freedom is freedom is a huge responsibility. It's, to take it on, to make it a mission to free yourself from these old programs and from the epigenetics of this generation and this and your lineage and my lineage and consciously evolve into freedom or liberation is a task. It takes effort. It takes a feeling of responsibility to stay on that task. Because no one else can do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves. And so it's a chore.
It is a chore.
A straight up chore.
Well, it's like working out.
Yeah.
I mean,
or playing an instrument.
Yeah. Learning a new skill. I mean, like you said, yeah, playing an instrument or whatever that new skill is, and it'll be challenging, and it's not for everybody.
It might not feel good all the time.
No, it doesn't.
You might want to just sit and do something else.
Yeah, which is natural.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're really gonna make progress, you have to identify when you're feeling stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
And either accept it. That's fine. I'm not supposed to change my belief system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm satisfied with where I'm at. That's cool, I mean,
yeah.
But for a lot of people, though, we actually want to explore our innate abilities that are at this point untapped.
Right.
I find that exciting.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, what actually can I manifest if I get it together?
Mm-hmm.
That's
right.
the thing.
That's what I've been feeling. I'm giving myself to my birthday. I'm giving myself till October to wrestle my old beliefs, and I'm not going to try to do anything innovative or. Okay. I mean, we're going to definitely keep going with the show and playing music and stuff. But besides that, I have no goals other than wrestle my old belief systems and implement the ones that I do want so that my next year around the sun, I can see what's possible. I can see how I can tap into the possibilities and create some stuff, some good stuff, some fun, some joy, some meaning and purpose, and
more. Even this stuff can be just psychological, more skillful at emotional regulation.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying by wrestling the old belief system is that's a part of it, being better at metacognition, being better. I mean, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about the refractory period is how you can gauge how well you're doing. Yeah. Because everyone gets triggered, everyone reacts, but how quickly can you come back to center? How quickly can you redirect where you're going when you're going somewhere you don't want to go? Yeah. And so that is very important to know when you're doing this work, that it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Yeah. And it's about the slow steps. It's about self-forgiveness and self-love and self-respect. And it's not easy. It's not necessarily fun. There are moments of fun. Yeah. But it's also very important to just take it on and make it a mission. And for me, that's easy. I've been on this mission for 30 plus years now. For me, it's just absolutely natural that I become the best version of myself that I can, because that's been what I've been trying to do since I was 17. So, but for somebody is feeling comfortable in their patterns and their life, and this idea is uncomfortable, that's something to dive into. Why is it uncomfortable to even fathom the idea of digging into a belief system and digging into things that can't be seen or felt? Or
there's fear. I mean, as far as when you start looking at your belief system, like letting go of beliefs it's not that. And I just recently read something about this. It's not that we're afraid of what we're going to create, but we're afraid of letting go of old habits, old mind habits.
Because who are we going to end up being?
Yes, right.
It's scary.
That's it. It is scary, but it's not, because we're just naturally, ideally, just going to be more in touch with reality, which part of being in touch with reality is understanding how, like you said, most everything is energy. I am primarily an energetic being. Mm-hmm. And understanding that, 100 years goes by like a flash of lightning, boom. I mean, having like greater perspective on my personal reality, I'm working on developing those beliefs, and those kind of beliefs just bring more peace and contentment. And it's like, oh, everything is okay.
Yeah, and that's the bigger picture, is that everything is okay. It may not feel like it, and especially if you're dealing with an illness or an injury, or you're watching a loved one or a friend go through something, it's really hard to even accept that idea. But at the same time, if you, zoom out, this is just a blip in time, and this is Earth School. This is not supposed to be fun. This is supposed to push our souls to grow, push our spirits to grow. We're not here to be in paradise. This is not paradise. This is Earth School. This is not fun. There's tests and there's challenges and
many challenges.
Yeah, if you know anyone who hasn't had a challenge, that's I don't even think it's possible.
No.
I don't think there is anyone out there who hasn't been challenged greatly by this Earth School.
Yeah, and it's how we react.
Yeah.
That's really the test. Are we going to be graceful? Are we going to be forgiving? Are we going to be kind? Are we going to be loving? Are we going to be compassionate? That's a big one. I mean,
are we going to be slow to react? Are we going to take in the variables? Are we going to just quickly? I mean, this is one I struggle with. I just automatic, quick response, reaction.
Right. And that's a habit that a lot of us have. I mean, but that's like the ego just like rearing up, oh, this is wrong, I've been dissed or whatever, and then reacting and then saying something you don't mean or whatever.
Right. And then you add to the problem.
Yeah. I mean, another way of framing this, speaking of the ego, is that personally, I believe that just trying to view human existence from a more soulful perspective, that to me gives me a lot of peace at times and perspective. It's like, okay, I self-identify as a spiritual being having a temporary human experience. That's how I see myself. At least I'm trying to see. I work on that a lot, know, and it brings me peace because I think it helps me align my mind and my perspective with reality, right? If I'm just tripping all the time because I feel like, oh no, YOLO, I need a better car. I need, I gotta compete with everybody. So just all that. That's old school. That's status quo thinking.
Right. And that's the conscious evolution that we can opt out. We can say, you know what, I'm 99.999% energy. I'm gonna make a new whatever.
Or I'm a soul.
Yeah,
I'm a soul, and everybody I see is also a soulful being. I mean, and
that's hard.
That's not.
I mean,
though.
that's where Jesus said that we need to love our enemies.
Well, because we're all like these,
respect each other.
Well, and if we can
respect
see each other. Well, the first step is probably seeing each other for who we really are, which means seeing everybody as a soulful creature.
Yeah.
And also understanding we're all confused to a certain degree.
Yep.
So that kind of...
Totally.
So we just like reduce our confusion, and guess what? We get along better. And we reduce our confusion enough.
I don't know if we reduce our confusion rather than just accept that this is confusing.
No, we reduce it.
How do we reduce confusion?
Well, we start developing soulful perspectives.
Oh, okay. I see.
So
instead of shifting perspective.
Tripping on this ego stuff and status. And,
Yeah.
Whatever that brings, I mean, just feeling
old stuff
this.
that
That creates, ultimately just creates war.
Yeah.
And allowing like the centralized power structure to determine what I'm thinking is a mistake nowadays.
I want you to hold that thought because we want to play a song to kind of sum up what we've been talking about.
All right.
And then we'll be back to continue on that conversation. Okay. So dance along with me.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
We are energy.
Yeah, we're made of energy.
100% energy.
And we have the freedom to be joyful and grateful.
Sometimes. Yeah, I mean, we do. We do. I mean, I can always say thank you no matter what's happening in my life.
It is definitely difficult to make that choice when it feels...
everything's going sideways.
Yes.
Yeah, it is difficult. It is difficult, but it is an option.
Right.
I do have the freedom.
We are free to do that.
Yeah, I am free to say the phrase thank you in my mind whenever the F I want to.
Yeah.
Which could be a very, I try to actually say that phrase in my mind.
Yeah.
Throughout the day, I mean, not all the time, but I definitely try and say it every day, where, no matter how I'm feeling. Just to exercise my freedom, to exercise my ability to determine my own internal dialogue. That's the thing. If we're stuck in these old patterns, our internal dialogues don't change.
Right.
And they just happen. They just occur. The conscious mind has nothing to do about it. It's just these internal dialogues just roll and roll and roll and roll.
Absolutely.
And unless we identify it and unless we consciously determine that we want to be in charge of our internal dialogue, that's what freedom is.
Yeah, because we're truly enslaved to the old programs.
Well, right. I mean, especially when we don't even realize it.
Right.
Go on.
I did want to say in Qigong, the opposite of fear is gratitude.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the fear gets lodged in our kidneys, probably because the adrenals are above them. And so there's a kidney Qigong that is meant to bring the kidneys back into balance. And in your mind, while you're doing that Qigong, you're repeating the word thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I'm a believer in I try and repeat that phrase every morning when I wake up. No matter how I'm feeling, too. It's not like I attach the phrase to anything, because the idea is you don't attach it to anything. You just say it.
Do you feel it?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm directing my mind to seek the positive of the moment when I'm saying it. So yeah, sometimes I do feel it, and it doesn't work all the time. I'll wake up, I'll have a headache and a backache, and I'll start walking across the room, and I'll be saying thank you. My mind, and I might be grateful for something, but I might not. But at least I'm taking control of my internal dialogue.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Instead of like, oh, I'm such a victim, whatever.
Well, we all do that too.
Well, yeah, for sure. But the more we can actually be in charge of what our minds are saying, the more free we are, I would argue.
Yeah, what you just brought up about the victim stancing, I think is an important point, because we always have a choice of perspective. And it's when you have been a victim of something, it's easy to say, hey, you know what? I've been a victim and I'm going to leave it there. But if you want to be able to change next time, or change the magnet inside, or change the belief that created that situation in the first place, it's really important to not stop there, to not stop on, well, I am a victim. I can justify it. I can validate it. I can, it's easy enough to just say, well, I don't need to go any further because this fact and this fact and this fact. But if we don't deal with that, it will happen again.
Well, and
we're responsible. We can take the responsibility.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes we're just victimized too. I want to say it's not like, who knows?
Yeah, I guess there's times where it's not from a magnet.
No, you're born into a difficult situation and blah, blah, blah. And, you can take responsibility for that or not.
Well, I see that as someone who was born into a difficult situation, I feel that I have the responsibility to change my perspective, to see that happened to me so that I would grow, so that I would have these experiences that give me empathy for other people who have had difficult situations. So it definitely has increased my ability to understand being a human.
Yeah.
But I could totally just be like, well, I'm a victim.
Well, right. And we just have to be careful because sometimes things happen and like a family gets wiped out in a car wreck or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't want to be standing in that place of, well, they magnetize that to themselves. It's like that's not our beliefs. I mean, it's not my belief. My belief is that I do have something to say about what I'm going to manifest in my life. Mm-hmm. But I can't be just like judging the entire world as, they're just magnetizing. That's not a healthy or an accurate perspective.
Okay.
I would say, yeah.
I would, on that kind of a random note, though, I would say that we all come into this world and we all leave this world, and we don't know when we're coming in and when we're leaving.
That's true.
And so there's not really a way to...
Well, yeah. And if you really look at it deeply, leaving the world is not necessarily a bad thing either.
Right.
Like the goal is to stay alive in misery on this planet for... I'm going to cut my head off when I die and freeze it, so I can stay perpetually alive. Just that's not the goal.
Whoa, that was creepy.
Well, that's what some people do. It costs a lot of money.
Yikes.
$30,000 a year, probably.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There's like a big freezer somewhere, and who knows where.
That's nuts. I guess that's where that one cartoon came from. But way off topic.
No. But I mean, yeah. Well, it's getting to, reality is not. We're not in touch with reality, right? And
right, we're in touch with the 0.001% of existence.
Or 0.0% of existence. That's how much we're in touch with things. So, I mean, so that's why it's important for us, I think, not to just look at our own lives and say, I want to improve my life. Mm-hmm. And I want to create positive things in my life for myself and my family and my culture and my society and all of humanity. And I'm determined to do that. That's important. And if at moments I feel like a victim, so be it. I'm at least going to ponder that. I mean, the whole victim thing, it's on a continuum too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Everything is on a continuum. Life is on one level just highly complex with trillions of variables involved with each of us.
Yeah.
Each of us. And so I'm doing all I can to figure myself out. I don't want to, I want to encourage people to seek freedom, and to try and manifest cool things in their lives. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, as far as just analysis, I just have myself to look at,
Right. Yeah. And something that just popped in my mind again is the idea of the 1% idea, I'm pretty sure it is. And they say that if 1% of the population raises their vibration and transcends basically victimhood, and into Jiva Mukta, which is alive, or liberated while alive, instead of when we leave the earth, they say that it would balance out the energy of not being aware.
Oh, sure. And I would replace the idea of victimhood with just slavery, with not being free. Mm-hmm. We just want to move towards freedom, but
liberation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Liberation. Yeah. And that's it. And on some level, we're probably destined to evolve as a culture, and that's how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a group of people that raise their vibration, start creating cool things, find like way more compassion than what we're used to, and just create a better world for all of us.
Yeah. And I feel
that's the goal.
That is my dharma, is to be, and that's what this show is about. Mindflow radio show is here to just put little seeds out there and little thoughts in my friends' ears that we can be free, that we can transcend these difficulties. That spending time and effort and focus on healing our own belief systems and minds is so valuable. Because if we only need I think it's 1%. There's a school in India, and it's called EKAM, EKAM, and their whole mission is to get 80,000 people, to help 80,000 people become enlightened. And then I guess the question is, what is enlightenment? But if enlightenment simply is to become aware of all the variables going on in our minds, so that we are more in control of our minds and our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions and in our vibration. If we can raise our vibration, 80,000 people could raise their vibration, that we would shift humanity into more compassion and ability to love our neighbors and take care of each other.
And love ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically, loving ourselves is kind of the precursor to enlightenment or awakening, or whatever word you want to put on it. Transcending the old paradigm, basically.
Yes. Well, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I personally believe it's destined to happen, and people we're working on. We're trying to figure it out. We're it's like we're trying to be the pioneers,
right?
In a way.
And I feel when people feel so. The word that comes to mind is forlorn, just feeling like, well, what can I do about it?
Yeah.
I'm just me. What am I going to do about it? And that idea of you are your own experiment. We are each our own experiment. We're our own scientists. We're our own research project.
Right.
And to say, you know what? Can I raise my vibration? Can I manifest a better life for myself?
Yeah.
Is manifesting a better life for myself actually going to create peace for my neighborhood, for my community, for my country, for the world?
Yeah.
It's an experiment. Let's find out.
Yeah, it's a worthwhile. It's worthy of exploration for sure. I mean, and the thing is, as we do it. If we're able to raise our vibration, then collectively we're hooking in with all these other people who are doing the same thing.
Right.
There's such a thing as collective consciousness. That's one thing we need to understand. And Carl Jung talks about that way back. And it's real. And I believe. And so if we're even feeling lonely, but we're working on it just with ourselves, and in reality, we're connecting with all these other folks who are in the same boat as us, and we're helping each other. We're assisting each other at evolving. And
I feel that's very important. This point that you just brought up is so key, because this is it's a hairy year for our country, and politics can divide us and make really difficult alliances, and I don't even know all the words, but what I do know is that collective consciousness, it doesn't matter what side you're on, and it matters what emotion you're carrying, what mood you're carrying.
Well, your vibration.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people are dealing with fear and defensiveness.
Anger is huge. Self-righteous anger has always been huge in humanity, as far as, as like the status quo.
Yeah. And it's easy to fall into that collective consciousness.
Yeah, it is.
And it's also harder ancient to get out of, because it's so massive.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying about the 1%. If 1% can raise their vibration, supposedly that will outweigh the majority vibe.
Yeah.
And so getting out of that is difficult. I'm not going to say it's a walk in the park, or it's not peaches and cream or butterflies and rainbows. Right. It's a huge choice. It's a huge decision to say, you know what? I don't want to be angry right now. How do I get out of this?
Yeah.
I don't want to be afraid right now. How do I get out of this? And this year is going to be really tough because neighbors are glaring at each other. Oh, you're on that side, and oh, you're on that side, and you live right next to each other. So it's so important that we remember that we're all humans, and we're all here for a similar purpose of evolving our own consciousness. That's always been what's on the docket, can you evolve your consciousness? Can you bring to light what the generation before couldn't?
Yeah.
What your ancestors couldn't. So this has always been a thing. And now this year in our country is so key to notice, am I just in the majority wave of fear and anger? Yeah. Can I get out of it?
Yeah. Right, and just questioning the cultural philosophies that tend to dominate the news. Mm-hmm. Just this idea like if you're not angry, you're not paying attention. Yeah, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah,
I mean it's worth examining.
Yeah,
it doesn't work for me personally.
Well, I can tell you from having had some very difficult things go on and then settling on anger, defensiveness, and fear, that it really wrecked my body and made me very sick. And I had to really take it on, meditate so many hours to just get my vibration under control and get my symptoms under control. And it has to do with not being angry and not being afraid. And that emotions make us sick, and we have to be very mindful, or we're gonna, make ourselves miserable and then be mad about it, and that's not going to help. Yeah,
that philosophy kind of creates a feeling of disempowerment too.
Yeah,
like the only way I can be powerful is by being angry and yelling and screaming and whatever.
And that's most likely going to make you feel like crap.
Right.
That's what it did to me.
Well, it'll be exciting for a little bit, but in the long run, it's like
draining. And
well, we create a bunch of bad karma for ourselves. And I mean, what? It's not. It's the old school. That's the old way.
Yeah.
That is the reason humanity's been engaging in warfare for quite a while.
Right.
It's because we believe it collectively.
Right. And so this is my challenge to everybody who's listening this month, because we need to wrap it up. I challenge you to step into the higher river, to get your vibe out of the fear and out of the anger, even for just a moment every day. Think about gratitude. Think about how powerful you are. Think about that you're 99.999% energy. And what do you want to do with that? How do you tap into the majority of what you are?
Yeah. And, just ponder, if I could manifest something, what would it be? Mm-hmm. I mean, really think about it. And also ponder the idea that you're vastly more powerful than you understand. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal.
And that freedom is a responsibility to yourself to get free.
Okay.
Or something like that.
That's
my challenges to all of us.
Don't quote that sentence.
Yeah. So we're going to land with one more song. And before we begin with the song, I just want to tell you that the two phrases that I feel are so important in this day and age and in this year specifically. I reach across the divide and see my reflection. And the other one is love one another right now. So I hope you have a great month pondering, how can we love one another? How can we reach across the divide? And how can we realize that across the divide is my reflection? So let's take care of each other this month and be kind to ourselves.
And know you have the most likely have the spark of the divine within you. And we're all soulful beings, which is, that's magical.
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll talk with you more next month. Enjoy. Watch your feelings now, my dear. Feelings are the way we steer. Happiness is how we play. Feeling lost now, find your way. Want to get back on your path, release control on your past, forgive all the players' part, contrast to ask is how we start. Let go of all that you fear. Divine love is always near. Anger shows you the closed door. Train your mind to open more. Train your mind to open more. Train your mind to open more. We are sisters and brothers, daughters and sons. We all live together here on this planet Earth, under the what sun, what sun. I reach across the divide, see my reflection. 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 We are born, we live and we die. So let's fully play this game of life under the what sun, what sun. Love one another right now, right now, right now. Love one another right now, right now, right now. Love one another right now, right now, right now. Love one another right now, right now. Love, love, love. Now, now, now. Love, love, love. Now, now, now. We are sisters and brothers, daughters and sons. We all live together here on this planet Earth, under the what sun, what sun. I reach across the divide, see my reflection. I reach across the divide, see my reflection. I reach across the divide, see my reflection. across the divide, see my reflection. We are born, we live and we die. So let's fully play this game of life under the one sun, one sun. Love one another.